Good morning, everyone. We'll start in next 1 minute. Okay, while others are joining in, let's get started. Yeah, as usual, it's the same question again from me. Why you want to learn SQL and Power BI? Okay, so let's do this way. Um, you can introduce yourself, your name, if you're working somewhere, where you're working, right? And what's your experience and what kind of role you're into, and why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI? Okay, so maybe, yeah, offline you can start off, then we'll move on to online.
Sir, this is Mohammed Fayaz. I'm actually pursuing online PGD for marketing. I'm even from MIT Pune, in distance now. And I completed my bachelor's in 2023 from Bristol College in BA and BA in mass communication professor.
Okay.
Then after 2023, after the commission of graduation, I started working as a operations role in the whole transportation company. We handle like road transportation, where we get contracts and we transport something. I see all the operations through the logistic operations, on-time deliveries, coordinating with the clients, getting the daily operations requirement. I have one of these clients. In working there.
Okay, cool then, yeah. So why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI?
This is my very good where I'm working is no plan with my career goals. I don't see much job there. So I want to come into corporate world, for the exposure, for the new skills and to start a new
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks for that. Basically, you're looking for a good career opportunity. Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Okay. You're looking for an opportunity in data analytics. Excellent. Yeah, online participants, please go ahead. Your name, where are you working currently? And if you may be a fresher as well. And why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI? Yeah, online participants.
Hi, hi. This is Pawan. So
Yep.
I'm currently in United States. I finished my master's like a while ago. So I'm working in a jewelry company over here as a business analyst. So right now I'm planning to switch my career to a data analyst. So in my bachelor's, I was not from my IT background, so I'm started preparing for the courses. So I'm starting with the SQL as now. So that's all about me. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for that. Yeah, others, online participants.
Yeah, my name is Venkatesh. I'm from Anantapur, but I was working in one of the asset management company in Pune. My basic education background is I'm a CMA and FRM. Recently, I have cleared my FRM, so now I am moving into the risk-related profiles. For that, I need data analytics in knowledge also, like SQL, Python for data modeling related profiles. So for that purpose, right, I'm learning.
Okay,
I'm
thanks for
completely
that.
non-technical.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, thank you. Others? Okay, so while others are joining, I'll be just quickly take you through what we are and what we have been doing. We're from Team Excelytics, and it's been 11 plus years. We are into data analytics and data science training programs, and we are also into cybersecurity, digital marketing, other training programs as well. But yeah, our focus is mostly on the data analytics because we have started our careers, though we were into different roles earlier, but we moved to data analytics and yeah, doing so many things in this field. Yeah, coming to Excelytics, we are Microsoft authorized test center, and it's been like 11 plus years, as I said. A good number of certification students have completed from us. We also deal with a lot of projects, consulting work we do, and different kind of certifications we offer, right from, Excel certification, be it any kind of Microsoft certification, we offer that. So many other certifications also because we are authorized test center. So the different courses that we offer. Today you chose this SQL and Power BI, but we also have the other courses like Advanced Excel, VBA, Python, and so many other things. And we also do, as I said, we do the consulting solutions. It could be any automation related work or a dashboard or any data modeling related work and all. We take it up as a project and we do that. So that's briefly about Team Excelytics. And coming to me, I'm Kishore, and it's been 17 plus years I've been working with different companies and into different kind of data analytics roles only. But I've started my career as a data entry operator in a company. But good thing is that after working there for 1.5 year, company only gave me the opportunity to switch to data analytics role. That point, I was mostly working with advanced Excel, but later, yeah, slowly started working with other tools like SAP Crystal Reports, SAP Business Intelligence, BOBI, SQL, and then moved on to ClickView, Tableau, Power BI, and I was also working as an automation expert in UHG. That point, it was UHG, United Health Group, but now it is Optum, right? So at that point, I was working with different automation tools, the RPA, the robotic automation, right? Robotic process automation. So I used to work there. I was with Deloitte later, working with ClickView and ClickSense. And there itself, I worked with Tableau and Power BI. So almost I got opportunity to work with almost all the tools there. Currently, I'm doing my PhD in data analytics. That's currently going on, and it takes a couple of more years to complete my PhD. Yeah, so that's briefly about me and coming to the technical expertise. Right from Excel to RPA, I do a lot of things with all these tools. Excel, SQL, macros, VBA macros to automate. SAP, BOBI, Crystal Reports, Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense, ClickView. RPA tools like Macro Express, Power Automate, and Power Apps for the application development. Okay. I also work with the different kind of databases, mostly the SQL Server and MySQL, but yeah, other databases as well. I have the domain experience, with US healthcare. So that's how I've started my journey. I was part of US healthcare, we used to call like, what is that? Accounts receivables team. I was part of that initially, but later, yeah, moved to different teams. I was with revenue cycle management, IT assets analytics, contact center analytics, financial data analysis, and different things I was working with. And coming to my certifications, I'm a MCT Microsoft Certified Trainer since 2021, and I have this PL 300 Power BI, you know, Data Analyst Associate Certificate. I'm a PL 900 Power Platform Fundamental Certified. I'm Excel expert, Word expert, Access expert, PowerPoint specialist, Outlook specialist, and that list is too big. I'm Deloitte Faculty Excellence Certified. I think I was able to accommodate only a few badges here, but yeah, so even if you complete these certifications that are online examinations, even you can attempt them, right, to get the Microsoft official badge. Okay, so that's my skill graph. Bottom of the screen. Of course, I couldn't again, write all my skills there. I mentioned a few there. And looking at all these things, don't think I'm from technical background. I'm also from BCom MBA Finance. Okay, I completed my MBA Finance in 2008. Currently leading Team Excelytics here. Prior to that, I was with Quadratics as a senior consultant into data analytics, and I used to work with different tools. But now what I'm doing is I'm delivering the trainings at Excelytics, and plus I'm also designing so many L&D programs for different corporates. So, but basically, I work with different companies like Dr. Reddy's, Procter & Gamble, HSBC, and different companies. I design their L&D programs. I deliver the trainings there. Not only just me, my entire team. We all deliver the trainings there. So, Quadratics, I was there for a couple of years as a senior consultant. Deloitte, I was there an assistant manager, a good number of years there. I learned so many things. United Health Group, I was an automation expert there. And iSpace, I was a senior analyst in financial data analyst. I mean, it's a long journey, almost like 17 years plus experience. I was with different companies. But now I'm leading Team Excelytics here. So that's briefly about me. And coming to your course, it's SQL and Power BI. Okay. So SQL and Power BI combination. There is a reason why we made it like a combination, SQL and Power BI. Probably most of you may be thinking like, okay, I can directly learn Power BI, right? Why SQL? Or a few of you may be thinking, I just can learn only SQL, and why do I need to go for Power BI or Tableau or ClickSense, right? Okay, both of them have some connection. Simple in one line, I can tell you. Let's say we store a lot of data every day, right? Not only businesses, even as an individual also, we store a lot of data. Do we store some data? Yes, a lot of data, right? We take pictures, we enter, different kind of transactions into our mobile, right? Fine then. So a lot of data is getting stored, and normal spreadsheets or notepads are not enough to store the data. So what do we need? We need a database. So definitely, there should be some backend for all these applications that we use, so that, a lot of data can be stored inside. For that matter, you can take SQL Server database. Okay. So you can store a lot of data. Great. In SQL, you understand more about the backend of it, like how the servers work, how the databases work, and how the data is stored, how the data is retrieved, and all. Great. But once you store a lot of data, then what is the next step? You should be able to understand what's going on, right? Otherwise, you may be storing a lot of data, but what is the point unless you analyze it, right? Storing the data is just not only for history tracking purpose. You may want to see the trends. You want to, find out the insights, what's going on in my business, right? So in order to draw those trends or insights from the data, we need the other applications, something like a data visualization application, Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, Google Data Studio, right? Looker, and so many kind of applications are available in the market. They help us to analyze the data. So both of them, they go hand in hand. So in one place, we are storing the data and retrieving the data. Once the data comes out, you should be able to visualize it, right? So that the end user can easily understand what's happening in the business. So both the tools, SQL Server or SQL, that helps you to understand more about the servers and the databases, how the data is stored. Once the data is stored, you can retrieve that into your application, something like Power BI, and you can visualize it, and you can tell the business what's happening. So that's the reason we made it like a combo. Okay. So SQL with Power BI is one combination. SQL with Tableau or SQL with ClickSense. Anything is okay, right? When it comes to The backend SQL is needed. Of course, there are so many other technologies to store the data and retrieve the data. Different languages also present. But SQL is most commonly used language in order to interact with any RDBMS, relational database. Okay, we'll talk about that. What is relational database and how SQL helps us to interact with it, and how the retrieved data can be visualized using Power BI. Right? Why SQL Power BI only? Why not SQL Tableau or SQL ClickSense? Simple, supply and demand. Right? If you look at the number of positions that are available with Power BI compared to Tableau and ClickSense is little more, right? Power BI positions are a little more than the other applications. So that's the reason we are dealing with it. But yeah, I'll tell you one more interesting thing. Once you learn Power BI, learning Tableau or learning ClickSense is going to be easy because they are also same visualization tools. The language and the interface may be looking a little different, but the concepts and the functionalities, most of them, they look same. Okay. So that's the reason once you learn Power BI, it will be easy for you to understand the data modeling concepts across all these tools because all of them, they follow the same rules. Okay. So as part of this training, we initially start with SQL. It's going to be around a good, 12 to 15 days time we spend, right? You may be thinking like, how come SQL can be covered in just 15 to, maybe up to 15 days, right? So 12 to 15 days only. How? Because this is not a complete SQL training program, right? So when it comes to a SQL training program, usually, you see around 45 days or 60 days SQL program only, okay? So why it is just limited to only 15 days? There is a reason. I'll tell you one thing. SQL, if you're looking for the entire thing, like something like a database administrator kind of a role or a database developer role, then you need to learn the entire SQL, program. So basically, it helps you to, first of all, how to gather the business requirements and how to design the databases, how to create the ER diagrams, and then how to, insert the records, how to retrieve the records, how to manage the data access or user management and server management. So many things will come into picture. But when it comes to the data analytics role, our focus should be on the data retrieval. Data retrieval. So this is why I always give an example. Like, if you want to learn car driving, to drive a car, right? So what is it you need to learn? You just need to learn how to drive a car. That's it. Right? So that will serve the purpose, right? But you really no need to learn how to fix an engine issue or how to fix an electronic failure issue in a car, right? So being a driver, what is that skill? That's primary skill as a driver is, just driving the car. But it is good for us to understand a little about troubleshooting if any small issue or a minor issue that comes up. That is okay. But you no need to really, master the skill of, fixing an engine issue, right? You understand the point? So similarly, when it comes to SQL also has so many things. But our focus should be on something that is related to data analytics. What is our focus? Just retrieve the data. While retrieving the data, what kind of things that you need to implement in the SQL query, be it a join or a subquery or any stored procedure or any common table expression or any function that you need to write. There are certain things that are connected to or related to only the data analytics, and let us learn only them and let us master them first. But in this process, we will also learn the other things as well. How to design the database we learn, how to develop a database we learn, how to create a table, how to set up the constraints, how to set up the keys, everything we learn. But we do not focus more on that side. Why? Because that is a database developer's job. There is a dedicated role available, database developer, and these guys are the ones, they design the databases. And it's not our job. Our job starts once the database is ready. And once the data is stored inside, then our job starts. What is that we do? We retrieve the data and we create the reports to draw the insights. I hope you understood the point. Why we are limiting it to SQL for analytics only. SQL for reporting analytics. That is what we say. So it is a very much customized course. And from our experiences, like working with different companies in different roles, this is what we have identified. That entire SQL learning, yes, it is a great thing. No doubt about it. If you want to learn the full SQL course, no doubt. But you are not going to use it. The problem with all these things, I'll tell you. As long as you're in touch with the subject, you can remember that. Even if you learn 100 things, but every day, if you're only practicing 10 things, how many things you learned overall? 10 things only. Because the rest of the 90, anyways, you will forget. Right? So let us not focus on the other things that are not relevant for our role. Right? So certain things are there, even if that is not part of our role, we'll still discuss. If you can remember it, great. Even if you don't remember it, that's okay, because anyways, that's not our role, right? So SQL for analytics, as I mentioned, it is a customized course, and this is going to be around 12 to 15 days, in which I'll be talking about right from what is database, what is RDBMS, how to install the SQL Server. Of course, installation of the SQL Server in a company, again, it is not our role. We don't do that. But why are we doing it here? Because if you want to practice these queries and all, a server should be available in your computer also, right? To write the queries and to practice. So that's the reason we'll cover that. And yeah, so you will get some idea about how to install servers, how to interact with them, how to set up the server configuration and all we'll discuss. And then, yeah, how SSMS, the client application, how it looks. You need to set up the server and the client, both of them, because we are going to work with the server client environment. Okay, what is the server, you will understand, what is the client and how the client interface looks like. And yeah, as I mentioned, though database designing is not our job, we still discuss these points like how to create a database, how to drop a database, how to backup a database, how to restore a database and all. Here, we are going to learn SQL, but which is one of those variants called TSQL, Transact SQL. We have the other SQLs also. MySQL variant is there, something like Oracle SQL, people call it, right? You have ANSI SQL, you have different SQL variants. But here you are going to learn TSQL, Transact SQL. And this is a proprietary language of Microsoft, and which is supported by Microsoft SQL Server. You may get a question, okay, you are going to train us on TSQL, but how about my client wants MySQL? Our Oracle server is there, Oracle SQL. You don't need to worry about that. I'll tell you the reason. All these SQLs are almost like 95% of the commands and the lines, they look very much same, right? Across all these different variants of SQL. Different variants are there. Okay, so all these things, they sound very much same. Even if you learn TSQL here, you will be able to work with any other variant of SQL, because even those lines also, they look same. I'm one of those best examples. When I learned Oracle 11G, back in 2010, 11 time, okay? But when I've started working with a client, I used to work with MySQL. Now I'm delivering the sessions on TSQL. See, it doesn't really matter which variant of SQL you learn, because all of them, they look very much same. But a few commands, they may be little different. I can give you a few examples here. If you want to limit your data while retrieving, let's say your database table has 10,000 rows, but you don't want to see all 10,000. You just want to see only, let's say 100 rows. In MySQL, you use a command limit my output to only 100 rows. TSQL command, we say top. You get me only the top 100 rows. See, commands, they may be sounding little different, but ultimately the functionality is same. So you just need to remember those things. In TSQL, in order to create a primary key, I'll also talk about what is a key. Primary key, we use a keyword called identity. In Oracle SQL, we call it auto increment. Different things are there, but they sound very much same also. The auto increment, why do we use? Because every time you want to create a new key. Identity is the one, we use it for the ID keys. Okay, ID related things, which are nothing but your primary keys only. So what I'm trying to tell you is, ultimately, whether you learn a TSQL, MySQL, it doesn't really matter, because all of them, they look very much same. You can say these are the different accents, the different usages in English. UK people, they use English in a different way. US people, they use English in different way. But ultimately, the meaning is same, right? Fine. So as part of this, we will learn all these 5 different types of commands: DDL, data definition language; DML, data manipulation language; DQL, data querying language; DCL, data controlling language; TCL, transaction controlling language. So all these 5 different commands we learn. However, our focus is more on DQL, data querying language. Why? Because we want to use this language to do the data retrieval and analyze the data. That is what we are going to do. We learn how to design the tables, how to set up the constraints like primary key, foreign key. I'll explain that. The different data types while designing the table. And once the tables are ready and the data types have been set up and the keys are set up, and then we'll move on to DML, data manipulation language. Again, this is not our focus. In DML, we learn insert, update, delete, truncate commands. It is to insert the data, update the data, delete the data if it is not needed, and we can also truncate the data if the entire table is not needed, right? DMLs, are mostly used by the data entry operators. DDLs, they are used by the database developers. They are the ones, they need to design, they need to define things there. DDLs. DMLs is to insert, update, delete. So these are mostly done by the data entry operators. What do they do in the data entry? They insert the records, they update the records if needed, and they delete the record if it is not needed, right? So that is done by the DML commands, mostly done by the data entry operators. So I have a question here. When it comes to data entry, are we data entry operators? No, we don't enter any data. Sure. Think. Don't we enter any data? So don't think only from the company standpoint you are working somewhere. No, just look around, every day-to-day activity. Do we enter any data or not? Okay, you had a coffee or tea in the morning outside by any chance? No. Yesterday you would have had something, right? You went outside and you had something. Okay. Did you do any data entry there? Yes, you did. Think. What kind of a data entry? UPI payment you made. That's a data entry thing only, right? You entered those things. You entered that money. You submitted your code, and that's when one transaction got recorded in the database. That's a data entry operation. So getting it? So technically speaking, we all are the data entry operators only. Even if you go to ATM machine, what is it we are doing? Data entry only. Think about from the database standpoint. What's happening in an ATM center? Data entry is happening. Of course, there is a transaction as a result, money may come out or you may deposit some money or something, but ultimately everything is one transaction for that machine. It's data entry. So data entry is everywhere. We all do a lot of data entry. We update the data, we delete the data if not needed, right? So with the availability of the internet, this has become very, very easy now, right? All right. So we also do the data entry, but in the business operation side, a data entry team is something like, technically 100, 200 members sitting on the floor and, doing different kind of data entry work with, documents. Maybe they may be digitalizing them or they may be entering, kind of different transactions into the system. Okay. Bank for that matter, if you take in a bank, what happens usually? Data entry only. People talk about, okay, we are SAP end users. That may be sounding really nice. You know what happens in SAP end user role? What happens? Data entry only. What is it they do in SAP end user role? And the application is ready and all the entire architecture or the user interface and everything is ready. These users, they need to just input the data. That's it. But with some domain knowledge. They cannot randomly do something. Some knowledge is also needed. Right? Certain things are pure data entry operations wherein you really no need to do anything there. Just like one transaction is coming in and you simply input that and that's done. Right? You don't require a lot of domain knowledge there. But when it comes to SAP kind of a role, so you need to have that domain knowledge also. What is that you are doing is very, very important there. Just not only the data entry. Okay, so coming to DQL, this is where we spend some good amount of time understanding what are those select queries, how to write them, right? How to get the data, how to use the where clauses, having clauses, group by, our subqueries, our joins, or so many things are there. A good number of things are there while writing these things, okay? So we write the functions, aggregate functions, string functions, date functions, conversion functions, and all. We also use the joins. Most of you, maybe, I think, yeah, in the graduation also you would have seen these kind of joins and all, right? Let me keep it simple. In the real time, the data is not stored in a single table. If you want to get one answer from your data, it is not possible to get you that answer from one table. You may need to connect 100 different tables sometimes. So in order to connect those tables, we use a word join because the data is not stored in single table. The data is stored in multiple tables. We need to learn how to connect them and then get the result, what we are expecting from the data, right? So that's where we talk about what is a join, left join, right join, full join, inner join, self join, cross join, different kind of joins that we have. And then set operators like union the table, union all the table, intersect, except, and set operators are there. Subqueries are there, right? Nested subqueries are there. Multi-row nested subqueries are there, right? At this point, these things may be sounding little new, but when I take you through the subject one by one, you will understand. But these are the things very much important to become a data analyst, because as a data analyst, this is what we do. Okay. Security setup, of course, this is not our role, creating the user creation and all. That's not our role, but we'll discuss like how the user is created, how access is granted. Finally, transaction management. We'll also talk about this. What is transaction management and why we need to learn about that. What is begin transaction, commit transaction, and rollback transaction. So different things are there. So this is our SQL course outline. And when it comes to Power BI, again, Power BI, this is also about a good 25 days of training program. Okay, so in which we will be covering right from what is business intelligence. Okay, that's where we start. Why business intelligence is needed for the business. And if you observe something, there is a shift. In 1980s, 90s, that point in time, the computers, right? A lot of companies have started manufacturing the computers, right? Systems, right? And during that 90s and 2000 times, there was a lot of demand for software engineers. Why? You remember those days? Just in case. Why? A lot of demand for software engineers. See, computers are ready, machines are ready, so there should be someone to develop the programs for the machines, right? Okay, I have a laptop. Okay, laptop is there, and there is no operating system. Then how can I use it? You're getting the point, right? Then what happens? What happened? A lot of demand for the software engineers, and yeah, people have started developing so many softwares, different technologies, right? Done, and then 2000 up to 2000, it was there. 2010 up to 2010 and all. You used to see something called data warehousing concepts, right? 2010, maybe like 2015 and all. Data warehousing concepts a lot, right? Why? Because computers are ready, softwares are ready. As a result, a lot of data is getting into the computers. So you need to learn how to store the data. A lot of data warehousing tools, like, different companies, they have come up with different tools, right? Great. After that, now data is there with the business. What is it the business wants to do now? They should be able to analyze the data, right? Now, that is the reason, during that 2010, 15, or maybe 2020, 2025, now also, a lot of companies are focusing on how to analyze the data, right? Now, there is another trend going on. What is it? AI-based analytics. You really don't need anyone to, spend so many hours together to fix all those data-related issues. And if you ask the questions, AI can respond, right? And you can easily integrate that into your Power BI or ClickView or any other tool, and you can get the solution. You're getting the point, right? And if you really want to observe these trends, you just go around, that Amirpet, you have this road, right, towards my Thiruvannamalai. If you look around, you can easily find out what is the current trend in the market. I mean, that is what, right? During that 90s and 2000s, you used to see a lot of boards on Java developer, Python developer, that, this and all, right? After that, data warehousing related, right? Cognos, Informatica, different things, right? Data engineering, data warehousing related. After that, data analytics related, right? Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, blah, blah, blah. And along with that, now what's happening is that as a lot of AI things are coming in, a lot of technology is playing its role everywhere. So that is the reason if you go around, you will see one thing, big data. Second one, AI based, any kind of a thing is AI based thing, right? It could be implementing, AI in analytics or something, right? And along with that, because of this technology evaluation, a lot of cyber attacks. So that's the reason you see cyber security. Earlier, this cyber security was limited to only a few companies, but now it's everywhere. So that's the reason if you go around, you see a lot of boards about, cyber security. So observe that the trend, how it is moving. And the next thing is going to be completely AI-based one, the cyber security and a few things. But AI also, certain things, it may not be able to give you the expected output, but you need to fine tune those queries and all as an expert from your domain. And then you integrate those queries or, codes into your, Power BI dashboard or whatever, right? But yeah, maybe down the line, 10 to 15 years, you never know which direction this world takes. But yeah, if you want to understand the trends currently in the market, just go towards that Maithruvanam road, look around, and you will figure out what's happening in this world, right? And this is the beauty of Amirpet. You name any technology in the world, there is a trainer available in Amirpet. With the technology would have been introduced in the last few years, but a trainer is available with 10 plus years experience here. Okay. I'm just kidding. Okay, here we go. This is the trend going on. A lot of analytics, a lot of data science related, AI related, but yeah, Power BI is definitely a good tool in terms of analyzing the data. And good thing is that it has got so many features. Like other tools, they have the extensions or the other programs to do this, but Power BI has got everything in one place, right? Right from getting the data, transforming the data, and fixing all the data related issues, and loading that into our data model and visualizing the data and publishing it online. Everything is there in one application, right? So Power BI Desktop is the application that we need to learn, and how to install it and all we will learn, and getting the data and data transformation, right? How to get the data from the different sources. It could be Excel, CSV, web pages, SQL Server, PDF, whatnot. You name any data connector, it is there. If just in case if it is not there, you can even download and you can use it, right? That's how it is. Power Query is the one. We learn a lot of data transformation techniques. Once that is done, we'll move on to the data modeling, how to work with the data models, how to design the models, relationships, right? Creating custom tables, creating hierarchies, setting up the data category, sort by columns and things like that. And we'll move on to the data visualization. Okay, I would like to tell you one very interesting thing here. When it comes to data visualization, probably you would have created a good number of charts as you are working using Excel. Creating a chart is very easy. You just like input some data, you select it, and you choose a chart. That's it. You will get it. But most of the experienced people also, they struggle in one place. You know what is it? Creating a visual is easy, or a chart is easy, but selection of the chart, which type of chart do I need to use to present this data effectively? Most of the people, they struggle there, choosing the right type of chart. So we have a scientific approach for that. We have created some material around it. We'll share this material with you. You will understand that easily. So whenever you get into a situation like you want to create a visual, right? A question comes, what would you like to show? Is it a comparison you want to show, composition, distribution, or a relationship? Okay, so if it is a comparison, is it among the time or over the time? Yeah, I want to compare my sale value over the last 10 years, which means it's a comparison over the time, which is a non-cyclical data. So last 10 years means, again, you will look into the data, 11th year will come, 12th year will come, but not cyclical one, right? It cannot go back to one again. So if it is a non-cyclical data and you just want to see a one data point, which is your total sales, now you see that line chart is the correct one. Similarly, if you are looking for a simple composition, a static composition, right? And simply you want to show share of total, yeah, a pie chart or a donut chart, right? So if you can follow this, you can choose your visual very easily. Like we'll talk about this particular thing as part of the data visualization in Power BI. So how to choose the right type of visual. So the moment you look at the data, you can easily understand, okay, so this kind of a chart is suggested for this data. Okay, so good number of visuals are there. Power BI itself has good 30 plus visuals. Plus, you can also download the custom visuals. Means a visual which is not present as part of Power BI, you can even download and use it. I'll show you one interesting visual today, and with that, you will get some idea. A couple of visuals I'll show you. Right, different types of visuals, slicing and dicing, using the filters, slicers, how to use them, how to set up the filters at the page level, report level, or visual level, introduction to DAX, how to use the DAX language. It's a formula language that drives the entire Power BI report. DAX, data analysis expressions. You write Excel formulas, right? In Power BI, we write DAX. Okay. Good number of functions are available: mathematical functions, text functions, logical functions, statistical functions, filter functions, time intelligence functions, and different kind of functions. We'll talk about a function called calculate function. Very, very useful. I'll be really surprised a real-time dashboard if it exists without a calculate function. That means that much important it is, okay? And then finally, once the report is ready with all these calculations and all, we learn how to publish. So basically, we discussed both Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service, both of them. how to develop the reports, how to publish the reports online using Power BI service, and how to make them available for your clients, right? How you can easily grant the permissions, what all should be shared with your client. And I'll give you one more example also. It's like a very interesting thing. In Power BI, it is easy. I'll show you one thing. Okay. I'll give you a simple example. I'll tell you a simple example here. We have some sample data here, right? We have 5 different regional managers, and we have created a dashboard like this. And your business clearly tells you that, okay, this entire thing is showing for all the regions, but let's not share this report with all the managers with all the regions. Why? Because a simple example is when you share the report with Chris, who is a central manager, should be able to only see central data. Okay, who is the next one? East, Erin. Erin should be able to see only East data. But the thing is that your dashboard consists of all the data of all the regions. Then what is it you do? Then what is it you need to do? When you want to prepare a central report, this is what I do. I delete all the records of central data. All the other regions data. And I leave only central data so that I can share it with central manager, because this has only central data. I can share it with Chris, right? This is what you need to do. If you want to share this report with 5 different managers with their respective data, you need to delete the other data, right? You get an idea. Why do I need to delete it? Can't I hide it? Can't I protect it? Okay, you can protect it, you can hide it. But the thing is that as long as data is there, you will be able to read the data via those pivot tables and all, even if you try to protect it, right? So what is the best option here? You need to delete it. And how many copies of the reports then you need to create? 5 managers are there. 5 different copies of the reports. East region data with East report, right? Central region data with Central report, and 5. And CEO wants overall data, then 6 reports. You see that? A lot of maintenance activity here in Excel. But you know what? In Power BI, you publish only 1 report. You log in as East manager, you get to see only East data because of your login. You log in as central manager, you get to see only central data. Like West, only West data. South, only South data. You understand the point? The report is one, but basis on the user credentials that we supply, automatically filters the data as per our role. Something called row level security, RLS. We talk about static roles and dynamic roles also. So dynamically it can filter the data. Static roles are also there. We'll discuss initially static roles and all. So why I'm trying to explain this point is because in Excel, you need to do a lot of data maintenance activity, right? But when it comes to Power BI, it's like very easy to manage. Basis on your login credentials, it will filter the data, right? So finally, we get into how to develop a dashboard, that is with the web layout and a mobile layout also. Mobile dashboards also will create. Apps we can create, right? So many things are there as part of Power BI service. So this particular course covers both Power BI desktop and Power BI service as well. Done? Got some idea? Now, what is it you're going to learn both in SQL and Power BI? SQL is more about data extraction, reporting, and analytics. Power BI is about whatever the data that we have extracted, we want to analyze the data, right? I'd like to show you why we need to learn SQL also for Power BI. A simple example. You want to create a very powerful report using Power BI. Okay. To create any report, what is needed? Data is needed. Simple. You need some data. Right. Where is this data? So data usually in a small organization and all, you see these data sets and all in Excel or CSV files. But if it is a big organization, definitely I told you, right? To store the data, a normal Excel kind of spreadsheet is not enough. You need what? You need a database. Perfect. You need a database. Let's say the company is using SQL database. Okay. And you want to use Power BI to create the report, right? Your visualization application is ready. Your database application is also ready. Great. But how can you get the data into your visualization application or a business intelligence application? Simple. You need a language. What is it? SQL, structured query language. Using this language, you'll pass a query to your server, DBMS, database management system, and that will go to the database and get the required amount of data. I'll tell you one thing. A simple example is, let's say your database contains the last 10 years sales, but your business asks you to analyze the last 1 month sales, right? It is not recommended to get last 10 years sales into your reporting tool. Why? Because your business is only looking for the last 1 month. What happened? Then you should be in a position to write a SQL query saying, okay, I want to get the data from the sales table where the sale transaction date falling within the last 1 month. So I said this statement in a simple English, but in a SQL, it may be sounding like select stars from transactions table where the transaction date is between so-and-so date and so-and-so date, right? The SQL query may be sounding like this. It sounds like almost, I mean, very much similar to English only, but yeah, certain commands and all you need to carefully write them. You got the point? Overall, why we are learning SQL and Power BI combination here? Because Power BI alone can't do anything. SQL alone can't do anything. I mean, the databases can't do anything. So when we have a bridge, something like SQL language, then get the required amount of data and present it in your reporting tool. That is what we are going to do. Right? Okay, fine then. I'd like to show you why data visualization is important, and then I'll take you through the job opportunities that are available. Okay. Simple example. Once again, let me close this. And I think all of you are coming from Excel background. Yes? You have some idea about Excel, right? Okay. Excel pivots and all, you have some idea? Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, perfect. See, it's very, very important to have Excel knowledge before you choose this course. Without Excel, I don't recommend this course for you. You should have some idea about lookups, VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, conditional formatting, data validations, right? Data management like sorting, filtering, these kind of things should be there. Okay. So if you know them, yes, it is okay to proceed with this course. But if you are a beginner like Excel, like you don't know what is a spreadsheet, what is a cell reference, how to freeze the references and all. No, I don't think it's a right course for you, right? Let me tell you upfront, because it's not that you can't learn this course, but only thing is that while others answering all those questions very easily, you may be struggling to find an answer, right? If Excel skill is there, then it's going to be very easy for you, right? At least those lookups you should know, pivots you should know, slicers you should know, right? I'll do one thing. I'll quickly create a pivot table. You know the process of creating a pivot table? Simple. You just keep the cursor there, go to insert, and I want to insert a pivot table. Click OK, that's it. See, why data visualization is important, I'll show you with one simple example here. With that, you will understand the power of Power BI. In Excel itself, if I'm able to do something like this, then you understand, what could be the power of Power BI. I'll just do a number format here. I just don't need any such kind of a format there. Just click OK. Done. So I've just created a pivot table that is currently showing at this point sum of profit. That's your sum of profit, okay? And what I can do is I can keep the region name there. You see that I can use a region name, or I can use a product container. You see that how easily I'm able to visualize, summarize the data with the help of a pivot table. Of course, I'm not visualizing the data yet. I'll also show you. Product category wise, what is my total sales, right? And customer segment wise, what is my total sales? It's simple drag and drop. If you are comfortable with this, Power BI also, it's like very much same. Simple drag and drop while creating these visuals, okay? But why don't we recommend the data to be present as a summarized table here? I'll give you a simple example here. Yeah, for that, I will ask you a question. You get exactly 5 seconds time, okay, to answer this question. The question is this. Which region has the least profit? Time started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. What is it? Central.
Central.
Okay. See, usually why these questions come up, because business wants to take a very crucial decision looking at all these numbers only. Let's say business took a decision, whoever has the least profit, business wants to lay off that person. I mean, yeah, when it comes to a layoff process, they look at, some criteria, right? So who all are not performing well, we want to lay off that person. Okay, who is that central manager, by the way? Chris, right? Okay, let's keep it very, very simple. A short and sweet email. Hi, Chris. We're fired. Thanks, the boss. Done. Short and sweet. Nice. Is it okay? Not okay. The companies can't they lay off people like this? Yes or no?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite possible in a private organization like this, right? So they have come up with a criteria, and if anyone couldn't meet the criteria, yeah, I mean, when it comes to let's say a financial crisis is there for the company, and they definitely need to lay off some, a few people. What is it they can do? They just come up with some criteria and they just lay off, right? So, okay, would you expect the company to conduct multiple times meeting? Okay, are you okay to leave the company? Is it okay? Is it fine? Is everything okay with you if you leave the company? Would there be any discussions like that? No. When a company takes a call, that's it. Right. Okay, fine then. So why did we fire Chris, by the way? Lowest profit from the region. See, our regional manager is there to make sure that the region gets more profit. Yes or no? Every business motto is to earn some profit only, right? Yeah. So if the regional manager is not justifying that role, then what is the point keeping that person with us? Right? Okay, here we go. Something went wrong actually here. I'll do one thing. I'll visualize the data now. So earlier I summarized it in the form of a pivot table. Now on top of this pivot table, same thing like we do in Power BI also, I want to visualize this data. What I do is I'll just insert a chart, a pivot chart this time. I'll give you only 2 seconds time. Answer this. Which region has the least profit? Time started. 1, 2. What? No, I think 2 minutes ago you all said Central. That's why we fired Chris. Why you have changed your answer now? South has the least actually. Like surprise, right? Okay. Let me zoom it in a bit, then you will realize what went wrong here. When I gave you 5 seconds, instead of looking at the value of the number, you are looking at the length of the number, but you have decimals there. And this is 287,000 and this is 231,000. 2,87,000, 2,31,000. But why we are confused? Because I gave you only 5 seconds. And interesting thing is that though I gave you, I was counting them 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time you are ready with your answer, you just want it to be, fast, right? And you also started saying Central has got the least, but Central is not the least. Central is I think the second least. That's not the least. Got the point? What could go wrong, right? Yeah, here we go. This is the one we try to get a solution using Power BI kind of a tool. So this helps us visualizing the data easily, okay? Easily to draw the trends, right? So many other factors in one visual you can show, right? Certain data sets are there. You can't even imagine like how this can be visualized. I'll show you one interesting thing here. We have like multiple examples, okay? I have some comments data here. And if you look at this kind of a data, do you think of any kind of a way that you can visualize this data? You have some review comment, that's it, and a date. And a maximum as an Excel user, what I can think of is per day, how many reviews are coming? That I can do. How many reviews are coming per day? Right? That I can do. But if I want to do better visuals with this, I'll show you this. Right? I'll take Power BI. We will learn how to install Power BI desktop, how to use. I told you, right? There is a scientific approach to choose any kind of a visual. Go there, blank report. I want to get the data from Excel workbook. Right, I'll just connect this, load it. So instead of analyzing the data in Excel, I just took that into Power BI. In Power BI also you have so many visuals. You know, what is that I can present at this point? I can show the number of reviews per day. Like each year, how many reviews we got. This is the max I can think of as an Excel user. But Power BI user, I can think of more visuals. Like there is something called word cloud. You can download that visual. It's like very easy to download all these custom visuals. And you see this, the same data, how effectively I can present. Have you ever seen this kind of a visual somewhere? Hoardings and all you see, right? Facebook and different places like where while they do a lot of marketing and all, they keep these things, right? Hardly matter of 15 seconds. You can also configure something like this. How much time did it take? I loaded, I configured it, maybe hardly 10 to 15 seconds, right? So these are our review comments, and it's very easy for us to, you know, visualize the data like this. See, Excel has certain limitations. You can't do anything beyond that. But Power BI has a lot of flexibility. You can bring in new visuals also. Okay. You would have seen, animated bar chart race and all. So let me just download that. There is something called animated bar chart race. A good number of visuals are there, but I'll show a few. Something like an add-on, you can say. These are called custom visuals. Okay. Let's say I want to get data from a web page. Okay, in your data sources, I kept all those links ready. There is a link for COVID data, daily how the COVID cases increased across the globe. You can see all of those numbers here, but in an animated bar chart race. Okay, a normal line chart, it's like very easy to understand. Let me show you this. A line chart I'll take. Okay, it's there in Excel also, line chart. What I want to show is date wise, right? Oh, sorry, not this. COVID data basically. Date reported wise. How the total cases are. Yeah. And moreover, if you're interested in seeing only India numbers, select the country as India. You see this? This is our first wave, second wave, third wave. These are COVID cases basically. Right? The most recent date that was reported from India was on 21st September 2025. So there was only one case reported. Right? But any line visual, column visual, even Excel also you can do that. Let me show you one interesting thing here. There is an animated bar chart race. Name country, value is the cumulative cases, and you want to show the period, which is like date reported, and you want to see the top 15 countries by the date reported. Now you see that. I'm not doing anything. I've just configured it like in 10 seconds. And daily, these countries have, these countries have been reporting the cases, right? The number of cases from each country. It is showing, China was the one initially reporting all the cases day wise, right? It's into a few good hundreds and thousands, while other countries were only just what, tens and twenties. Even China was, suffering from about 60,000 cases. India had only what, six or seven, right? But it took some like what, 2 to 3 months. That incubation period was there for that virus, right? But after that, once China hit around like 80,000, by the time the spread, right? Yeah, has spread across the globe. You see that the rest of the countries have started reporting cases, like they are also into a good thousands. You would have seen different, these kind of a visual online, right? Gold purchases, or UPI payments, or digital transactions, or number of World Cups won by a different country, and all that. Same thing. India was nowhere in the picture. So, you can spend some time configuring these kind of things, like hardly takes any 15-20 seconds. You no need to actually spend so much of time also. So what I'm trying to tell you is that these kind of very, very interesting visuals are possible in Power BI, right? If you want to see it by the world map, India is here now. While others were like into a good lakhs, India was into a few thousands. But yeah, if you want to do a visual like by the map, okay, location, total number of cases is your bubble size, and legend is your region. See that? Across the globe, how the cases. Understood? So these kind of visuals are possible in Power BI. So as part of this training program, we'll learn all those things, how to configure those charts, publish them online, right? And manage the report. There is something called schedule refresh also. There is something called Power BI Data Gateway. Every day you no need to refresh the report. Excel, usually what happens is that every day if the data changes, what is it you do? You open the Excel report, you delete the old data, you load the new data, and you rewrite all the calculations or refresh all the pivot tables, and then you get the output. But in Power BI, you no need to do that. Everything is automatic. You can schedule the job. You can say Power BI Data Gateway saying, okay, every day you update the data for me, and it will only do that. It's completely an automated solution, right? So let me show you how the Power BI jobs in Hyderabad itself. You don't need to think about any other place also. Of course, there are so many other positions. Let me just take any known company. Yeah, KPMG. I'm just randomly opening, okay? So when it was posted 8 days ago, show full description. What is the role? Assistant Manager Power BI, right? Looks like they did not mention much about this role, but let us watch you, sir. Power BI jobs. So what all they are asking, you see this? DAX. We will learn that, right? Python, they're asking for Randstad. Let's see. You see this? Role is what? Power BI developer. But what is it they are asking? SQL. An interesting thing is that role is Power BI developer. The first thing they are asking for SQL, and then the next one is they are asking for Power BI. Right? United Health Group. Okay, but this is like definitely a combination of SSIS, Power BI, SQL, and definitely they will ask for SQL. Power BI developer, senior. Okay, what is that? 20 years of experience. What is it they are asking for? Mandatory skill. Why SQL is a mandatory skill for a Power BI developer? Simple. If you want to visualize the data in Power BI, what is needed? Data. But where is the data? Data is there in the database. If you want to extract the data, how do you extract it? SQL. Right? So certain companies, okay, this is Power BI specialist role. Let's see what all these guys are asking for. ETL. Okay, we'll understand the basics of ETL also. Tax is there. All the SQL related SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services, SQL Server Analysis Services, SQL Server Reporting Services, and SQL is needed. Deloitte consultant. Okay, what all it is asking for? So ETL is needed. SQL is needed. Azure SQL or SQL. That's okay. Lookups. Okay, go on. Where do you see this? Lookup. Excel, right? Understand? You go any place, any kind of a position, you can't go away from Excel. Simple. Oh, they are also asking for a PL300 certification, which is Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Associate certification. It's up to you, optional. A few companies, they ask for the certification also. I would like to tell you my own experience with one of those clients. Okay, we have developed an end-to-end Power BI dashboard. Okay, so that gives them the clarity about what's happening. It's again into US healthcare only, almost at 12 different hospitals located in different states. So they used to get the reports from all these hospitals in different formats because each and every hospital has a reporting team. So they used to prepare their own report. So this client has come to us asking for, we want to see a centralized reporting, thing where we should be able to filter it by the hospital or by the doctor or by the patient and so many metrics. What is that? So from one patient, what is a patient life cycle or so many things. It's just not like one metric, but they wanted to see everything on one dashboard. So nothing but a good 10 plus hospitals. All the data should be put onto one centralized data warehouse. And from there, you need to prepare your Power BI report. So when they log in, they should be able to see everything in one click. That's what they wanted, right? We spent about a good 1 year to bring all the data because it has got so many stages, right? First of all, you need to understand their system. And one more interesting thing is each and every hospital got their own different system, right? So for their billing, they have a system. For their patient admissions and all, they have a system, right? We have to integrate all the data into one data warehouse, and that is taken care by the data engineering team. Only from the business intelligence team, we can give the suggestions like what kind of data points are needed. Basis on that, the data engineering team brings all the data into a common, platform, which is something like a data warehouse. And from there, we connect to the data warehouse and we design the reports. And we created a very big report with all the hospital data, millions of records, okay, from each and everything. Done. We developed it, and that's a final sign-off call from the client, and all the CEO, CFO, CTO, COO, everyone was there, and we were presenting it. And they were asking anything in that call, we were able to easily show that. Just, okay, you want this? Okay, you open this dashboard, you click this, click this, click this, here's your number. And they were like quite surprised to see all that in one place. And everyone was like quite impressed, and they said like, okay, Kishore, it was like very impressive and your team did a great job. But this question was from the CEO. And okay, I really like the dashboards and the filtering and everything is great. I wanted whatever I wanted. I'm able to get it here. But I have only one question here. Like, is there any way that I can get this data into Excel? After showing a very powerful dashboard like that, the CEO was still expecting the data to be exported into Excel. Why I'm trying to tell you this, you get into any kind of a role, Excel is ultimately the tool, most of the people prefer to use because it gives them the flexibility to play with the numbers, right? Power BI, they may not be masters. They may be able to easily use them, but when they get a question, what if I want to change this number like this and see the output? Then they can't directly do it in Power BI, right? So because they are not from the Power BI background, but they have some idea about Excel. So if they can export that into Excel, they can play with it. Yes, Power BI has options to export the data into Excel also if needed. You can restrict the export or you can allow the export. Okay. So different things as technologies again. Yeah, you may want to open any kind of a thing. You see that? What is it asking for? Proficient in SQL and writing DAX queries. Same. You open anything, you find the same kind of a thing. Okay. Fine. So that's the reason we made it like a combination of both SQL and Power BI, right? Opportunities are there, just that you need to be ready with this skill, and then you can aim for any analytics roles. Okay. So today is only the introduction session about this SQL and Power BI, and there may be a few who are looking to join only SQL, and a few may be looking for both SQL and Power BI. It's up to you. And coming to this batch number is B00737. This is your batch number. Any information related to this batch, you can tell the batch number to the front office team, and they will help you to get the access to the material and access to the videos. Okay. And also, this material can be downloaded from Google Drive. They will grant permissions to download the material from there, and all the videos are recorded and they will be uploaded to YouTube, and you will get a private access to it. And these videos will come with only a 6 months validity. You may be thinking about why not a lifetime? Tell me this, a learning should be a particular tool, learning should be a lifetime learning. All right. I mean, if you are trying to learn something, you should be able to learn maybe like in 2 to 3 months. That's it. So what is the point of learning the same tool for the lifetime? There is a challenge also, even if we give the lifetime access. One thing, it doesn't create the sense of seriousness. I'm the best example. I bought a course in 2018 from Udemy. Spent some good thousands of rupees because that was very much needed. They offered me a lifetime. You know what is the percentage of course that I completed so far? 15, 1, 5. You know why? Because they said like lifetime. Whenever I open the course, I feel like, okay, I got lifetime access, right? I'll see that later. I'll watch that later. But what if they would have told me that it is only for 1 month and you need to complete it? Otherwise, you will lose out, your money. Then, very much sure, I would have taken out some time from my personal time or from any other part. I would have completed that. So the 6 months also just to do a quick revision. I mean, if you want to look at that codes and all what we wrote, may be useful. But again, 6 months is also like way too high if you ask me. 3 months should be fine. Right? Every day you need to practice, and every day I'll be giving you small tasks and you need to submit those screenshots in the group before attending the next session. That is how this training goes, and small tests will be conducted, small project works will be given to you. By end of this Power BI, you will do at least 2 projects. One in the classroom itself will do, and the last final project also will do, but we'll give you one practical assignment with the client documentation. You need to read, understand it, get the data sets, fix all the data related issues, and you need to develop your own dashboard. That is the final assessment for you. Okay. Yeah, batch number B00737. Material will be available on Google Drive. YouTube access will be given with limited time duration for 6 months. Anything related to this course registration and all, you can reach out to the front office. Right, this course runs from only on weekends from Monday to Friday. I mean, usually around 7:45 I start, 7:30 they say, but by the time you come down here and settle down, it's going to be around 7:45 we'll start the session, right? And up to 9 o'clock we run the session, right? So initially we are going to start from SQL because you need to have some idea about how the databases they work, and then how to connect those databases with Power BI. That is our next course, right? And if you are interested to go for PL 300 Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Associate certification, that is also possible. For that, there is a separate material. And if you are interested, check with the front office. They will share the material. You just need to read a little bit of theoretical thing there. Of course, we'll do everything practically here. And as and when, I discuss any particular topic, and if it is part of Microsoft certification, I'll repeat that point for a couple of times. Okay, this feature is there in Microsoft examination. Okay. So if you want, you can make a note of it if you are looking for Microsoft certification. Okay, done. Any questions about the session, timings, how it runs? Okay, by the way, it runs both online, offline. You may want to come offline also. If you are looking for online, yes, it's the same times. Link will be shared in the group. You can directly log in using the Zoom. Okay, done. Questions? Okay.
I don't have exposure to this, so can I able to?
Online, come again once, please. Couldn't hear you.
Yeah, actually, I don't have any experience of SQL. I have only Bucket. I used to do work in Excel, so I don't have a SQL. Even basics of SQL also I don't know. Can I attend?
Okay, you have some Excel experience, but you don't have any experience with SQL. Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes.
Even I came from the non-technical background and no technical education. Okay, I completed my BCom and BA Finance. Okay, SQL, we start from what is SQL? What is that language? Why that language only? Why not the other languages? What is a server? So many basics that we have, and we discuss those things first. The first 2 days is about the introduction to SQL. Even if you come from zero knowledge of SQL, it is okay. But my only request is that you should have some Excel knowledge. because you need to understand what is a row, column, what is, table array, what is VLOOKUP, what is pivot table. If you have some idea, then understanding SQL is going to be easy. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine then. So technical subject, we will start from our next session. Just wanted to take you through the entire orientation. What is that you are going to learn in this batch? That's why we conducted today's session. Okay, so thanks everyone for attending today, and I'll see you all in our next session. Just to have a word with the front office for registering for this course. Yeah, that's all from my side for today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks online. Bye. Bye everyone.